What's up, y'all? Sunflower Fantasy Football Podcast, Episode 2. Week 4 is in the books, and we had some interesting results. Monday Night Football, and one Robert Tanyan brought a win for Alex, ended the misery, put Kyle at 0-4, and we're going to have some problems there. New division leader in the FI division, Greg, at 3-1. Greg on a 3-game win streak and has most points for in the league. So we'll be seeing if he squanders this opportunity, see if he can get his first playoff appearance since 2012. Mark took me down last night after the Ridley goose egg. Didn't pull off the comeback, so Mark is in the second. I lose sole possession of first place, sitting at third, 3-1. Quinn, 2-2. Tristan with his first win at 1-3. FI division is a toss-up, just like it always is. Gonna be a tough fight all the way to the end. The other side, Pat moved to 3-1. Got the nice Aaron Rodgers game last night. Ryan 2-2. Devontae Adams injury screwed him over and could not get what he needed out of Harrison Butker to pull off like a miraculous upset. 2-2. Still got a good roster. But yeah, 2-2 with that roster, especially with the Adams like injury, that's gonna be pretty disappointing there for Ryan. Coos coming in at 2-2. Coos, he just got like this decent team that's just kind of making, just like average games pretty much. He's gonna win some games. But then we've got Alex getting his first SI division win, 1-3 with the nice Robert Tanyan game, and Kyle with the Julio Jones pulled at halftime. Really cost him a dub. And who knows what's going to happen with Kyle. 0-4 is pretty crazy. Definitely like first time I'm sure that's ever happened to him. And 0-4, see if you can pull it out. So what we're going to do with the rest of this video is we're going to look at the top 10 scoring leaders currently at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end as they stand in our league. And we'll talk about the ownership of those players and who is getting good production. And probably won't touch much on the disappointing players for now. So before we move on, let's take a look at the quick projected playoff bracket. Greg, the 1 seed. Pat, the 2 seed, is leader of the SI division. Mark with the first wild card. And then me and Quinn in the projected wild card game. Looks good. We're going to see if Greg has a chance to get his first playoff appearance since 2012. And looking out at the consolation ladder, Ryan is first in the losers bracket currently, followed by Evan, Alex, Tristan, Kyle. Let's see if any of them can turn their seasons around. All right, moving on to the players. Top 10 players at each respective position. We'll start with quarterbacks. And the number 1 quarterback on the season to this point, and number 1 overall player, Dak Prescott. We went over this in the video on Monday. Dak Prescott was 7th round pick with 146 points on the season, and a robust 47 this last week. We're probably going to see this all season. He's probably finishing in the top 3. He's on some crazy pace right now. He's the most passing yards in NFL history through 4 games. He's on pace to shatter the passing yards record. He's got plenty of weapons on that offense. Yeah, it's gonna be a good year for Dak Prescott. Leading Russell Wilson, who fell off the top spot this week, and this comes in at number 2, 143 points with a somewhat down game at 24. Also a 7th round pick. And we got Greg's Josh Allen, Obviously, going hard, 138 points on the season, third place, had a 29-point game this last week. And these three players right here are really like the leaders right now for the fantasy MVP conversation, considering their draft capital. 7th-round pick for Dak Prescott, 7th-round pick for Russell Wilson, and I think Josh Allen might have been an 8th-round pick. Josh Allen, 8th-round pick, just a little later. I don't know, quite a bit later. Draft's going this way. So we had Russell Wilson first, then Dak Prescott, then a lot of nonsense, Cam Newton, and Josh Allen. So Josh Allen carrying Greg right now, first place in the league, first time probably in, who knows when. The last time Greg was in first place, probably never. Congratulations to Greg. Got yourself a great player. Patrick Mahomes comes in, number 4, 124 points on the season, trailing by 22, the number one spot. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, first quarterback off the board. It took him 8th overall. I mean, notwithstanding the points from the top 3 quarterbacks right now, that 124 is, that's all I was looking for so far. He always had the spike week, 46 points on Monday to single-handedly get me a dub. 31 points per game. I mean, I can't ask for much more. He's getting outplayed right now by 3 QBs, but he's definitely one of the top 5 quarterbacks that you want going forward the rest of the season. Aaron Rodgers coming in at number 5. Aaron Rodgers just on a bye week this week, unfortunately for Pat. So he's going to have to figure something else out at QB for this week. But 123 points, 1 point behind Patrick Mahomes for 4th place. Aaron Rodgers has been on fire. I mean, the Jordan Love draft pick, you can buy into the narrative of, you got pissed off Aaron Rodgers trying to make a point. I mean, really, I just think that the offense was at a place where they had the luxury of taking Jordan Love because, you've got plenty of pieces at receiver. Lazard going down for the season definitely kind of hurts, but Robert Tonyan is looking like he's a revelation. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams are great backs in the receiving game. And as soon as they get Devontae Adams healthy, Aaron Rodgers is going to be, probably going to continue this tear. Would be my best guess. Number 6, Ryan's Kyler Murray. He had a little bit higher draft capital. Ryan used an earlier pick, but he has 114 points. He's got a lot of good rushing numbers this year. Yeah, I mean, this is rushing numbers every single week here, and really good, consistent production. Passing game wasn't there, but he threw for this week, but he threw for 3 touchdowns, and obviously he's got Hopkins. He's got a plethora of receivers to throw to. Chase Edmonds is a good pass-catching back. If they can ever get Kenyon Drake going, then that'll just even be more dangerous. But Kyler Murray was picked a little earlier, 5th rounder, but it was a luxury pick for Ryan because he had all these extra picks early in the draft that he pretty much hit on almost all of them. So Kyler Murray, 5th round pick, returning pretty good value. Number 7, Tom Brady. I mean, what can you say? 102 points on the season, 40-point game last week to vault himself into the top 10. Who knows if he can throw for 5 touchdowns every week? I mean, he started the season, he looks pretty inconsistent when you look at these numbers. About 369 passing yards, the season high, 5 touchdowns. Threw a pick 6, which was like really ugly, right in the beginning, but he responded well. And Chicago, Green Bay, Las Vegas, New York, New Orleans, Carolina. There's not like a ton of stout defenses in that mix. Green Bay had secondary played great on Monday Night Football. But there's not like a ton of good defenses in that stretch. So Tom Brady probably continues to be usable, my guess would be, with those weapons. I mean, they lost O.J. Howard for the season, but Chris Godwin will be back soon. Mike Evans is a beast. They use their running backs out of the backfield, even though Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette are not like running backs that you would assume are, good pass catching backs. Leonard Fournette did it a little bit in Jacksonville, but first big surprise, like I would say, is probably Lamar down here at number 8. 93 points on the season, it just looks rough in the passing game. I mean, he's obviously a great runner. He ripped off a 50-yard touchdown run this week. But these passing numbers are just really not there. I mean, it almost looks like he's taking a step back this season because he led the league in passing touchdowns last year, which people don't really like to talk about, all of his haters. But, I mean, he hasn't broke 300 yards in the season. And if you take out week 1, it was a good game throwing the ball, can't deny. If you take out week 1, he's got 200 yards passing, 97 yards passing, 193, 4 total touchdowns, a pick. I mean, obviously the rushing numbers are there, but not what you're looking for so far out of Lamar here. And he's got 2 good matchups and then a bye. And then he's going to face some tough defenses. Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of the guys that have been picked, some of the guys that are hitting, these top 3 quarterbacks, it definitely seems like mid-round QB was like the optimal strategy this season. Because you got guys like Kyler, Allen, Wilson, Prescott. Notably missing Deshaun Watson. Coming in at 16, he was in that tier. Definitely a disappointment that he's not producing to that caliber. But Bill O'Brien is fired. I think Romeo Crennel is interim head coach. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if he can make it work with these receivers. We're gonna see if David Johnson ever really gives them some good work in the passing game. But Deshaun Watson, he's running for his life back there. Disappointment. I mean, with the draft stock, you almost have to say that Lamar has been more disappointing, but he's obviously so capable of blowing up. And Mark's in 3rd place, I think. Yeah, 3rd place. He was the number 1, top wild card. Matt Ryan coming in at number 9. That's about what you probably could have expected. It's about the same there. Evan got himself an average quarterback. There's good passing volume in that offense. But last night on Monday Night Football against the Packers, no touchdowns, 285 yards. He looked scared to throw the ball downfield, to be honest. It looked like he was looking for Ridley on deep patterns, and he just checked it down to Zacchaeus and whoever number 13 is. I don't even remember what his name is, but it's not Russell Gage. And so they've just got that was just a weird game. We can probably just throw that one out, but Matt Ryan is just going to be an average quarterback moving forward. And then rounding out the top 10 is the rookie Joe Burrow. It actually was picked up by Greg last week, I think. So Joe Burrow, it also looks like a high volume passing offense. He's really just putting up solid numbers. 17, 29, 25, 18. Nothing to be excited about yet. And some tough matches: Baltimore, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Pittsburgh later in the year. Probably not going to use them fancy playoffs anyway, Pittsburgh. So Joe Burrow, I mean, it's props to him. He's outplaying Gardner Minshew, Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, Sean Watson, Drew Brees. Cam Newton probably would have ended up somewhere in the top 10 if he didn't catch the Rona this week. But other than that, that's a pretty typical list at quarterback. We're going to move on to the running backs, and we're going to start with number 1, Alvin Kamara. Quinn looks like he has the number 1 running back on the season, averaging 30.8 points per game. Followed up a 40-point stellar performance, 43-point stellar performance. I mean, look at those numbers: 23, 37, 43, and then 20 this last week. He is just so many touches: 22, 19, 22. There's really not a ton of touches, not that I'm looking at it, but he's just so efficient, obviously, but everyone knows that. And yeah, I mean, moving forward, I don't see how you take a running back over him rest of the season. Aaron Jones, number 2, and on bye this week. Aaron Jones, the sleep is real. Everyone has always slept on Aaron Jones. He definitely deserves Pro Bowl, All-Pro, but whatever you can get accolades-wise, he deserves it. He's gotten none in his entire career. It's on bye this week, so he's going to drop down this list. But just an absolute beast and so durable and just constantly doing what the Packers ask of him. and leading all of these great running backs, number 2. I mean, I'm not surprised. There's like some regret not taking him over Miles Sanders, but I'm still excited for Miles Sanders moving forward. Dalvin Cook coming in at number 3, doing what Dalvin Cook does. With Evan's RB1 first-round pick. Just doing what he does. There's not much you can really say. He's got a lot of touchdowns on the season already. 6 touchdowns. Great, consistent production. Hit a spike week with 180 yards when he didn't even do as well. Or he did better in week 4 than he did in week 3 with 180 yards, but that's fantasy. Tons of touches, tons of production, tons of run-first offense. They lost Kevin Stefanski to the Browns, but it looks totally fine. And now Justin Jefferson is going to open up some, make it like he'll be a downfield threat that might lighten up some of those stack boxes that he might have been seeing in the first few weeks of the season. Number 4, Dalvin Cook. Number 4, Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, he's a Zeke. He's Zeke. He's kind of like Dalvin. He's kind of just doing his thing right now. The rushing numbers, the yardage numbers aren't really there, but plenty of work in the passing game. It's a high-volume passing offense, and it's got 4 touchdowns on the year, but the touchdowns will come. And I'm sure they've got some. I see Giants, Arizona, Washington, Philly. That's some light defenses coming up. Zeke just locked in as a top 5 running back moving forward. Chris Carson, here's a 5-6. Coming up 5 and 6. Chris Carson and James Robinson. Mark, a nice little duo. Nice duo here. Chris Carson played through the knee sprain and put up 25 points. That hurt against me. He's just like a baller. He's just like a grinder. Good stuff out of him. The offense is clicking. He's a good running back on a good offense, and he's getting involved in the passing game more so this season, which is good to see for him. And then James Robinson, like a big chunk of his production came on one game, 30-point game, but sandwiched between a 20-point and a 14-point game. I mean, he's the lead back in Jacksonville. It's kind of the opposite of Chris Carson, where he's like, it's funny, like he's not really like that great of a talent, probably. I mean, it's probably too early to say. He's an undrafted free agent. What can you say? No, not that great of a talent, and on a bad team, but still getting so much volume that he's like producing for fantasy. So that's like a funny little like opposite combo, but obviously productive no matter what. Joe Mixon would not have been on this list if it weren't for his big blow-up game. He had 17, 24. He had 24 total points heading into week 4 when they had the 42-point blow-up. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sold yet because of the schedule that's coming up. And just like the inefficiency that we saw in the beginning of the season, I'm definitely like, would still be concerned, but big, huge game. Definitely got Alex. Oh, that's right. No, he didn't start him. Didn't start Joe Mixon. Alex didn't start Joe Mixon, but he got the win despite not starting Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon's probably going to be in the lineup moving forward, would be my guess. Kareem Hunt. So Nick Chubb is out and will be for a while. He's placed on IR. So Adam Schefter report yesterday was that he could be out up to 6 weeks. So Kareem already was the RB7, tied RB7 with Joe Mixon with 66 points on the season. And with Kareem Hunt with Nick Chubb in the backfield, Kareem Hunt was productive this season, and that's only going to improve. I mean, he's got some tough matchups, but Kareem Hunt is probably matchup proof just with his usage. And now he's got the backfield to himself. I mean, that's like what part of the value that on draft day was if Nick Chubb were to go down, Kareem Hunt would be like a top 5 back. And that's just, that's the reality. And that's what he's should be a top 5 back locked in moving forward until Nick Chubb is back. Josh Jacobs coming in at number 9, tied number 9. He had a really good week 1. I think it was 34 points. Hasn't been the same since. 35 points hasn't been the same since. And Kyle has suffered because of it. He's got a bye week coming up. Soft run defense against KC this week. Kyle's got to Kyle's going to have to tough this out. He's going to hopefully have to cash on Jacobs this week because you got the bye coming up. Hopefully Kyle is week 6 Silvers Cup. No Josh Jacobs and could be 0-5 entering the Silvers Cup. That it would be unreal. I am almost always the worst record heading into the Silvers Cup. But this year does not look like that's going to happen. I actually think it's impossible. But no Josh Jacobs, week 6 coming up, Silvers Cup. Jerick McKinnon, what can you say? I mean, great story. The comeback is real. He's been so productive. I mean, what you're getting here is what the hype was back in the day. When he signed with San Francisco, I mean, they have been a running team, and they produce running backs like it's their job. And the fact that he's in the top 10 over some of these guys that you're like seeing down on this list, he's in the top 10 right now. I mean, that's a smash. Who knows if he can keep it up? I mean, I really don't know. But he's proven pretty much everybody wrong. Let's see where he took him real quick. He took Jerick McKinnon in the 11th round. I mean, you're throwing darts at that point anyway. And it's sort of just like Evan just kind of gravitated toward him, I think. I mean, other 11th round picks include Drew Brees, Harrison Butker, Jordan Howard, Jerry Jeudy, pretty good pick. Mecole Hardman also. But Jerick McKinnon looks like the best pick of that round for sure. And then guys like Melvin Gordon and Clyde, Mike Davis, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, all on the outside looking in still. So we'll see how they do moving forward. Wide receivers. Number 1 wide receiver is Amari Cooper. There is so much volume in that Dallas offense. And Amari Cooper is the number 1 benefactor from that. Only has a 1-point lead over DeAndre Hopkins, but anytime you're the number 1 receiver through 4 weeks, like, it's impressive. It's impressive. Amari Cooper was like not a guy that I was very excited about, but the volume and his talent and everything aligning really with him is just kind of proving to be like money right now. And I think he's a 3rd round pick. Good pick, no doubt. It's kind of one of those picks where, at least for me, it would have been, holding your nose, plug your nose, and make the pick. But Amari Cooper, great pick there at the end of the 3rd round. DeAndre Hopkins, just continuing to just be his like elite self. He actually had a down week this week, but DeAndre Hopkins at number 2. I mean, you took him high. Mark took DeAndre Hopkins high. You took him at the 1-2 turn with Lamar, and he's paying off there. Took him as the number 2 receiver off the board, and he's the number 2 receiver right now in the league. So good stuff. Calvin Ridley, number 3, lost the top spot. He was number 2 after week 1, but has been number 1 ever since. But he lost the top spot with a goose egg. Didn't really cost me like the actual like W, because I was going to probably lose anyway. But he had a touchdown late on Monday Night Football that got knocked out of his hands. Just kind of a weak pass that kind of had Calvin had to stop and like wait for it, and then DB came in and knocked it away, like out of his hands. Not really, it wasn't really a drop, but catch that touchdown and Calvin Ridley be on the top of this list. I'm not worried about Calvin Ridley moving forward. He's a nice, kind of a nice little squishy schedule. Carolina, Minnesota, Detroit, Carolina, Denver. Bye week comes late in the year. So I'm probably just going to be riding this for a fat minute. I'm definitely going to be riding Ridley. Probably pretty much all season is locked into the lineup. Tyler Lockett, disappointing. Tyler Lockett also could have been finished the week as a number 1 receiver or into this week, but 75 points. Yeah, just an anomaly. Lockett has been a beast with the Seahawks offense. And Evan just really is kind of part of one of the pieces that's just kind of carrying Evan to some wins right now. Diggs, Pat, number 5 receiver, just been a beast. Great value, great draft day value. I'm sure he's going to return a wide receiver 1 season, maybe mid wide receiver 2 at the worst, but Diggs is going to be a great like lineup piece for Pat, who is looking to win the newly aligned SI division for year one. He's the defending division champ and is also won in 2016. So he's looking for his third title. Stephon Diggs could definitely be a part of that. I would not be surprised whatsoever. Adam Thielen put up some production after the Justin Jefferson breakout, so that's good to see for Quinn. Following right up with Tyreek Hill. He had a good game, question mark? Yeah, he had a good game last night. He had caught the little gadget, the little touch pass, touchdown, and I mean, Tyreek Hill is an elite ball carrier in the NFL, just with his ability to make people miss and just like earn extra yardage that other players don't, just like purely because of his speed. Not a ton of volume so far for Tyreek. The Chiefs really spread the ball around really well. So no spike weeks, but this is actually like this consistent production is actually a lot different than Tyreek normally, because Tyreek normally obviously with the boomer bust type of games, but that's like solid so far, 15, 20, 20, and 16. And the boom weeks are only coming. So if he can do this as his floor, and the boom weeks will be coming, Tyreek Hill could finish as the number one receiver of the season. DK Metcalf tied number 7 with Tyreek. Had just like a normal game. Look at that production. 19 points, 19 points, 19 points, and 14 points. I mean, DK was a steal, 4 catches in every game. Touchdown in the first 3. He's a deep threat. He's just really demonstrating a connection with Russell. Really solid connection. And the Seahawks are just clicking. Well, Allen Robinson got some junk time. We got 5 receivers are tied at number 9. We'll touch on each of them quickly. Allen Robinson had some junk time stuff that's kind of salvaged today. Nick Foles, I guess, looked bad. I didn't really watch that game. But they kind of got blown out. It was like they put up like 3 points. They might have put up more by the end of it, but they put up 3. Like they had 3 points for the majority of the game. But Allen Robinson is a good talent. He's just kind of stuck with the back quarterback in a bad situation. But he's clearly the number one like option in that offense. Mike Evans continuing to just like mesh with Brady. He's going to benefit a little from some from Godwin being out again. Evans in practice today. I'm sure he's going to be fine. You're getting what you thought you were with Brady there. Terry McLaurin is probably going to finish the season as a wide receiver 1 or close to it. I mean, he is getting insane volume in that offense, as most people thought. He is a great talent. Any sort of improvement at quarterback play, whether it's Dwayne Haskins improving or Kyle Allen coming off the bench, or even Alex Smith, who knows? But Terry McLaurin is going to be like a really consistent player for fantasy this season. He's got 2 20-point games, 10 catches on 14 targets for 118 yards. I mean, that was against Baltimore. He was up against Marlon Humphrey. He was up against Marcus Peters. So he's going to be able to just pretty much do that every week. I mean, he's got Dallas coming up in week 7, which is juicy, and twice this season. And just like looking ahead, fantasy playoffs, he's got Seattle and Carolina, which is also some nice matchups. So I'm pretty much just going to be riding Terry. Odell with his big game, put himself in the top 10. Love to see it. Love to see it a lot. Just get him on the board. It was just a frustrating start. But yeah, I mean, he's going to have some spike games. He's Odell. That's who he is. He's going to make some good plays. The inconsistency will probably still be there, but maybe, who knows, with Chubb going down, they'll run a little bit less of a pass, run-heavy offense, and maybe Odell benefits from that. Robbie Anderson is the last player, and yeah, I mean, Robbie Anderson looks like he's the top wide receiver in Carolina. I mean, he's the number 1 fantasy option so far, and yeah, he's just like been consistent, and he's just like another player that escaped Adam Gase and has been solid. I mean, he's heavily involved. A lot of targets. He's definitely not just a deep threat like he was in the past. And then just Keenan Allen probably going to continue to see work. He's had some injuries to the Chargers offense. Boyd's fine. CeeDee Lamb with the breakout. I mean, he's sitting there at 16. Could only go up potentially. We'll see. Playing a lot of top receivers here. CeeDee Lamb. Tight ends, last position group we're going to touch on here. Number 1, Travis Kelce. Just doing his thing. Travis Kelce's the best tight end in football, in my opinion. And he's like suffering even like maybe he's like a little slightly from the way the Chiefs spread the ball around. You can see only had 3 catches on Monday night on 6 targets, but he had like a great 45-yard play to really like help break the game like loose. So he's like an elite playmaker. Robert Tonyan with the huge game for Alex puts himself at number 2. But I mean it's a super thin position group, but you can't discount. Robert Tonyan had 33 points, so he came into the week with 26 and just launched up, and now it's chilling 6 points ahead away from Kelce. Definitely like could be a flash in the pan, could be a good pickup, could be a season-long value, but that remains to be seen. We're on bye week this week, so we kind of don't really know what's going to end up happening there at tight end. So Darren Waller coming in number 3, pretty much still being carried by that big game that he had earlier in the season. He had a down week, but 15 points. I mean, that's going to be like he's going to be a consistent producer just because he's one of the top receiving options in that offense, probably the top receiving option in that offense. So you're going to see some spikes with the heavy usage. You're going to see he's like he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. He struggled with that last season, and for 4 weeks he only has 1. So yeah, he might not score a lot of touchdowns. Noah Fant currently sits at number 4. My guess is he's out this week. He could play. He might not play, but he could. Noah Fant has definitely been solid up to this point. The injury kind of sucks. So he's going to miss some games, and their bye week is probably coming up. We're entering bye week season. Yeah, he probably plays before the bye week, week 8, I would guess. Some good matchups with Miami and Kansas City. Kansas City defense is actually playing pretty well, but anytime that you need to chase the Kansas City offense, I'd say it's a decent matchup. Mark Andrews, 50 points off of in a low volume passing offense. I mean, his receiving numbers, 5 catches, 1 catch, 3 catches, 3 catches. The touchdowns are there. The usage is definitely there. He's definitely Lamar's top target in that offense, but it's a low volume passing offense. So Mark Andrews, kind of a touchdown dependent player until they start throwing the ball more. Johnny Smith, currently a free agent, must have been dropped by Alex. 48 points on the season. He had the COVID bye week, so he was probably even higher. He was like number 2, maybe even number 1 even. We'll see if the efficiency from the Tennessee offense can continue. Tyler Higbee, number 6, really been kind of being carried by the big 3-touchdown game, 28 points. Other than the 3-touchdown game, Tyler Higbee has kind of been a problem. So I think that number 6 ranking is a little bit of a mirage. Also tied, number 6 is 3 tied. But who knows? He could turn it around. Pat already has Mark Andrews, so it's not like he's hurting at that position. Dalton Schultz is benefiting from the Blake Jarwin injury, as well as the high-volume passing offense in Dallas. So Dalton Schultz is probably going to give you, he's probably going to see these targets. Is not it's not a fluke. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and he's the starting tight end on that offense. So that is that. George Kittle he missed a week, and then he put up an insane. He missed 2 weeks. Okay, he missed 2 weeks. And he put up an insane 39 points. I mean, that's probably his best game of the season, but I mean, he's an elite tight end. It's either him or Travis Kelce that's the most valuable tight end in fantasy for sure. Number 10, and this will be the last player we talk about, is TJ Hockenson on a bye week this week. But TJ Hockenson has been very consistent in the Detroit passing game for a low-end tight end 1. This is pretty much all you need. He's a red zone target. Didn't get a lot of targets this week, but they're going to use him in that offense. It's not going to be. He's not probably going to be that breakout tight end that some people thought he might be. That enters into the top, but I mean, sitting at 10 is probably about right. And then, I mean, notables outside top 10. Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is struggling. Evan Ingram struggling heavy. some struggling tight ends, but that wraps up the top 10 tight ends, and that is going to wrap up this video, and you will see this video tomorrow after the waivers run, and that is that. Good luck, y'all. Trying to figure out how to stop the recording.